everybody, James Jackson here, back again with another video. New to my channel, I do tips and tricks, news and reviews for the film and video making industry. So if you do like the content here, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you can stay up to date on all the content going forth. So this video is sort of to give a sort of my initial thoughts after having the camera for a week. Things that I have tested. I've tested all various forms of recording formats. I haven't delved into the photography, so if you're looking for photo questions, this is not necessarily the channel for you. This is a film and video making channel. So unfortunately, I may not be the best channel for you, but there's plenty of photography channels out there that probably can give you some answers on what this camera's capabilities of in terms of a photo camera. But in terms of the video camera, I have done quite a bit of shoots with this, actual shoots, paid shoots with this camera, shoots that of content that I'm actually producing for myself, for content that's coming out later. And this weekend, I'm actually going to be filming a wedding that I'm getting paid to film for as well. So there's a lot of opportunity. So there's a lot of things going on. So I have a lot to say on the initial testing of this camera. The first thing I want to sort of go over is the recording formats and basically how have they been going. Especially, I know a lot of you guys have had questions about overheating. I think at this point, if you've been following all the different content and different YouTube videos that have been spawning out since actual normal people have been getting their hands on the cameras, sort of testing out for themselves. There has been issues with overheating, and look, yes, if you are just going out, just running and gunning, not trying to figure out solutions to the camera, then yes, you are going to come across overheating. But, and I love the fact that big shout out to No Life for putting everybody on notice about this regarding going externally without SD cards and dummy batteries. Pretty much basically confirming what I was saying the entire time, which was the fact that, A, there are ways to manage and mitigate the heat if you actually take the time to actually remove a lot of the features that generate the heat, which is the battery, which is the recording process, the media. You take all that, you take those away, all of a sudden, this is a very powerful and useful camera. And now I've done my own personal test, and I was able to get well over 2 hours of nonstop recording to an Atomos recorder, which I will talk about in a future update. Bug, sorry. Anyways, hopefully, like, this will still quell a lot of people's concerns about this camera, because I think this pretty much resolves a lot of issues, not just overheating. There's some issues with record time and also potential post-production issues, which I'll get to in a later video. But in terms of recording, I've been enjoying the different recording flavors. The 4K HQ is phenomenal. I think for a lot of my shoots, especially for like the wedding that I'm going to be shooting this weekend, that is going to be 4K 24 HQ is going to be my go-to filming mode. It looks so good. It's so well detailed. Only thing I wish is that there was Canon Log 3, because from my testings, Canon Log 3, which you can get access to if you shoot RAW, which I'll discuss in a bit, there's a significant difference in terms of latitude from Canon Log 3 to Canon Log. There's some news that have came out, like I mentioned a while ago, that Canon has mentioned that they are considering adding Canon Log 3. So hopefully that comes soon, because this camera greatly needs it. It's like, because I feel the camera is very limited in terms of what its capability is in terms of its dynamic range. It can offer a lot more if it had Canon Log 3. But overall, 4K 30 has been great. 4K 60 looks great. It looks fine. I don't know where the mush came from. The little bit that I've shot with 4K 60, it looks fantastic. I want to talk about the 4K normal mode, because that was really the first thing I shot. The day, literally the next day after I got the camera, I was shooting an interview because I didn't get a chance to fully test out certain things with the camera, so I didn't want to push it. I didn't want to push it to where all of a sudden I am in a situation where I'm, running out of space and running out of media, or the potential of overheating. So I only shot for 4K 30 for most of this interview, but then a couple that were 4K 120 and 8K. What I will say to this is that the 4K 30 normal mode looks fine. It looks great. It looks good. I think I mentioned this after on my previous video on the shoot. It's the same shoot, the Black & Noble shoot. It looks good. If you shot on the EOS R or the 5D Mark IV and you thought the image was pretty nice on that one, this is better than that. So if you feel like you're concerned that the normal 4K is not going to hold up to content delivery, that's BS. It holds up perfectly fine, and I was able to record endlessly and without any issues. So I enjoy that. The next thing I did was I did some BTS, where I actually got a chance to shoot in some scenes that were very, very underlit as this truck goes by. So yeah, I got a chance to test the low light. This is the thing that has surprised me the most about this camera, is the fact that how freaking good the low light is in this camera. The low light is for 40. Look, is it A7S III or even A7S II level good? No, it's not that good. Let's not get it twisted. But I am so impressed by this sensor, especially since this is a 45 megapixel sensor. The low light is so good. I'm actually, especially to help preserve the highlights, I'm actually underexposing a lot of my skins because the detail is so good. You can pull it up in post and still get a pretty clean image. The low light is pretty damn impressive because I was basically in a warehouse where there wasn't a lot of light in there because it was a dark scene shoot for film, but it gives such a dramatic look, and I love that about the low light of this camera. But let's get into the two big ones that you all are pretty concerned about: the 8K and the 4K 120. Let's start with the 8K first. I will say this: the 8K All-I and I haven't touched the IPP, and I probably never will, because I won't even touch at this point, I will never touch the 8K All-I, for the simple fact that the post work, the headache that comes with post work of dealing with the All-I H.265 files, it's not worth the long-term post work of transcoding, because you will have to transcode these files, or your computer's going to struggle. But if you'll have to transcode all these 8K files to ProRes. So the 8K file but for the little bit I shot with it, it looks nice, it looks good. I would never shoot it. The 8K RAW, on the other hand, I think this is going to be something I'm going to use a lot more, because the 8K RAW plays back. Honestly, this is the surprising thing. The 8K RAW actually plays back the smoothest out of all of the formats. Even the 4K, even the normal 4K. The 8K RAW is actually the one that, when I'm putting it in DaVinci Resolve, it plays back the smoothest of them all. So I'm definitely, for B-rolls, if I can get it, if I can take moments to capture it, I am definitely shooting an 8K RAW. Let's talk about 4K 120. I finally got a chance to do some 4K 120. I got a chance to film my daughter while she was in the swimming pool and put it down. Now, I heard a lot about people saying the 4K is kind of soft. It's not really that good looking. It's not worth it, especially compared to the A7S III. After shooting with it myself, all I have to say is I want to know what the hell was everybody who said something bad about that 4K 120. I want to know what the hell they were smoking. And so I could just tell them to stop it and never smoke that shit again. Oh my gosh. The 4K 120 on this camera is amazing. I've never been impressed by 4K 120 previously. But oh my gosh, the 4K on this camera blew me away at how good the quality is. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to shoot it for that long, but it's 4K 120. You're not going to want to shoot that long in that format anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that's perfectly fine with me if it ends up being that I'm only going to get. But oh my gosh, if I'm doing super, it may be a point where I'm doing super slow mo, and I may just go to 4K 120 because my God, it looks so damn impressive. Now, what I know a lot of people are having little gripes that the 4K, it only compresses to 4K 30, it doesn't compress to 4K 24. Now, I don't know for other NLEs. I know specifically for me, with DaVinci Resolve, this is not an issue at all because you can basically just change the frame rate in Resolve to 24 and it will, and because you're already shooting at the correct motion at 120 frames per second, it just basically gives you that nice smooth 4K 24 frames. So that little issue, while granted it's a little annoying that you have to convert it to 24 in post, it's not that big of a deal. So basically I just wanted to just come in and just like give you guys my initial thoughts. I am loving this camera. I think this camera is going to be a big, huge Swiss Army tool in my arsenal. I've already got my sort of rig set up to sort of deal with like going out, just quickly grabbing, running, gunning with this camera. I'm gonna be, so tune in. I got some videos coming up about some essential equipments, and I'm going to talk about those. And then I'm also going to talk about some news that came out as well. But overall, I'm loving this camera. I can't get enough of this camera. I'm enjoying it. The autofocus on this camera is amazing. I haven't touched the autofocus in the IBIS. Both of them are amazing. Both of them are A1. I'm just blown away by this camera. But let me know what you guys would like to know more about this camera, things that you would like to hear about so I can answer them to you. I know a lot of you guys asked me about my post-production workflow. I am definitely going to make a video about that and sort of how I plan to deal with post-production workflow with this camera from this point on. If there's any other questions, please let me know. Leave a comment below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, take care, everyone.